No Filter MMA family. I am back with another video short ahead of possibly one of the biggest fight cards of the year, UFC 235. I mean, we got two title fights. We got Jon Jones defending his newly acquired light heavyweight belts. We also have Tyron Woodley against Kamaru Marty Usman. Telling y'all, man, this whole Ben Askren Marty thing, this whole thing is hilarious. But I want to get some thoughts about this Anthony Smith versus Jon Jones. This is going to be a really exciting fight, I feel like. You know, that a lot of what Anthony Smith says is true. I feel like Jon Jones beats a lot of people before he gets into the ring with them. I think all the interviews in the media and the press conferences, and I feel like Jon Jones defeats a lot of his opponents there, you know, before the fight even. It's kind of like Cyborg, you know, like, I feel like Cyborg beats a lot of her opponents before they even step into the cage, you know. People look at Jon Jones and look at what Jon Jones has done, how he dispatched Daniel Cormier, especially that second time, how he just handled Alexander Gustafsson. I mean, Jon Jones has a record, you know what I'm saying? Like, his resume is stacked. Sorry if it's a little loud, guys. I'm working right now. But this is what I think Anthony Smith brings to this fight. I think he brings more experience to Jon Jones. I feel like he's the more experienced fighter. I'm not saying he's the better fighter. He's the more experienced fighter. And he has nothing to lose in this fight. Jon Jones has everything to lose. You know, if Jon Jones loses to Anthony Smith, I mean, if he loses to Anthony Smith, that's not good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like Jon Jones said, these are the ones you have to watch out for. The guys who are the people who are the the overwhelming underdog. You know what I'm saying? Like, when the odds are stacked against you like that, those are the people you kind of have to watch out for. So, you know, kind of like when Matt Serra went in there and upset GSP, sort of like the same type of thing there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't write off Anthony Smith. Anthony Lionheart Smith could go in here and knock Jon Jones out. I mean, let's just be honest. He could. I'm not saying that's what he's going to do, but he could go in here and knock Jon Jones out. Now, I think Jon Jones brings a lot of length and his fight IQ, his kicks. You know, his kicks are just, you know, Jon Jones can keep that teep kick right up the middle. He can keep you away from him, which is what he did a lot to Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier already had the huge reach disadvantage, and Jon Jones just made it worse with the kicks. So the kicks, the footwork of Jon Jones is just absolutely out of this world, man. I mean, like, Jon Jones has a ring IQ like none other. I think Jon Jones, you know, I'm gonna have to pick Jon Jones. You know, if I had to bet money on Jon Jones, if I had to bet money on the fight, I'm going to have to say Jon Jones. But Anthony Lionheart Smith, what he brings to the octagon is grit and power. You know what I'm saying? So, like he said, he's not overwhelming himself with a lot of Jon Jones footage. I think he brings a sense of calmness, he brings not calmness. He brings confidence. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Anthony Smith brings confidence into the octagon against Jon Jones. Versus, I feel like some of the other people, including Daniel Cormier, Alex Gustafsson, I feel like when they were pumping, they were trying to more or less pump themselves up to get in there and fight Jon Jones, instead of just having the confidence, you know, and relying on their skill set and relying on the tools that they have that can win this fight. I feel like they went in there and fought Jon Jones's fight. You know, so that was the biggest weaknesses, I think, that Alex and DC, which is his two biggest rivalries, you know, I think that's what lost them the fight. You know, and I think Anthony Smith is going to come in there confident in his own skill set, in his own experience, in his training, you know, and I think that is what could possibly win this fight for Anthony Smith. You know, he's like he said, he's not watching a whole lot of Jon Jones footage. He's not going back and forth with Jon Jones. He's not doing all of that. He's focusing on what he needs to focus on to win this fight. Anthony Smith comes in here with a lot of fight experience, you know, so that could teeter. You know, now the odds makers aren't giving him a chance at all, you know, which I think is stupid. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, Jon Jones, yeah, he's great, possibly the greatest of all time, but you know, I mean, you gotta look at the styles. You know, styles make matchups. You know what I'm saying? Styles make matchups. If some people were smart, they would bet their money on Anthony Smith, because Anthony Smith could come in here and win this fight, and that's just it is what it is. He can come in here and win this fight. But my question is, what would that do to the legacy of Jon Jones, having someone that is such as big of an underdog as Anthony Smith come in there and defeat him? What does this do for Jon Jones's legacy, and what does it do for Anthony Smith? Him coming in here and beating Jon Jones, does that make Anthony Smith the greatest of all time if he beats Jon Jones? I mean, people said that DC beating Stipe made DC the greatest heavyweight of all time. So does this make Lionheart Smith the greatest light heavyweight of all time? The greatest fighter, because they're calling Jon Jones the greatest fighter of all time. So does this make Anthony Smith the greatest fighter of all time if he beats Jon Jones? I don't know. I'm just taking some of the bogus MMA logic that some people have and just throwing it right back at them. Anyways, guys, this is your boy BJ back with another video short on UFC 235. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Hit that like button, hit that dislike button, and don't forget to subscribe.